The meaning of life, transitional period. Once you define your mission and set some goals and projects based on that, you will most likely find that you need to move in a completely different direction. You've been on the beaten track for years, and now you want to take a turn in a completely different direction. It is possible that almost every aspect of your life will have to change. The way you are used to regarding your health, your social relationships, work, career, and even your spiritual customs. I have gone through this transition period many times, usually due to a conscious decision, and would like to share some advice on how best to overcome it. I hope my advice helps you. Changing gears. Clarity drops dramatically every time you turn a corner in life, so the first thing you can expect when you change direction is that you experience a very severe lack of clarity. Imagine that you are driving a car in a busy city center. You can clearly see the road many blocks ahead. But if you're about to turn a corner, you may see nothing but a few yards as you approach the corner. Obstacles block your view, and if you've never been on this road before, you hardly know what to expect. However, when you have almost completed the transition, you can again see what lies ahead of you in a new direction. Life is a lot like this kind of traffic. Your ability to see ahead will be severely limited when you change direction, but once you complete the turn, clarity will return. I experienced this when I changed my software publishing career last year to become a writer and public speaker. Until the transition was complete, I had only a vague idea of what my new career would be like. No matter how much I tried to plan, it remained in the fog for me, because there were too many variables that I could not predict. I was out of my element. When I started the transition, I had to redo my plans almost every week. Long-term planning was impossible as I was constantly learning new things and they ruined my old plans. In most cases, I could not plan further than a day ahead. But after a few months I was able to return to normal life and saw my path very clearly in front of me. After that, I could confidently set long-term goals. Do not hurry. When you make a significant transition in your life, always give yourself time to think. You don't have to change every aspect of your life at the same time in the next 30 days. Changes that are too big and too fast can be quite stressful, so try to make them gradually, keeping some aspects of your life constant as you change. If you turn a corner too sharply, you risk losing control and flipping the car. But even turning gradually, you will feel a force pulling you sideways. You will have to firmly grip the steering wheel and maintain control of the car. When you're done with the turn, you can relax and loosen your grip a little. Your new momentum will carry you forward. In the past 2 years, my wife and I had our second child. We moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. With all the side effects of moving to another state, I started a whole new career, and we recently bought a new house. My local social circle has completely changed. Most of the people with whom I now spend most of the time were complete strangers to me 2 years ago. And then there was all my work on personal development, which made me go through many personal changes during this time, including changes in my old habits. All this was a significant change, and if we tried to implement everything at once, it would be beyond our capabilities. But by breaking the changes apart and spreading them out over many months, we were able to gain control over them. After the birth of our son and during the move to Vegas, we kept a steady job and our income. Then it took us several months to settle in our new city, new kindergarten for our daughter, exploration of the city. After establishing a regular daily routine, I began to develop new skills and make connections with new people, and after a few months, I completely moved on to a new career. During this time, my wife did not change jobs, and while I did not have a stable income, she maintained her salary level. Over the next year, my job and my income will likely change even more, so I'm keeping the rest of my life relatively stable. I usually work outside my comfort zone in at least one area of my life, but not all areas, and find that the more I do it, the more simultaneous changes I can handle. Prepare your environment for change. One simple step you can take at the start of your transition is to prepare your environment to help reinforce your new goals. Most likely, this environment reflects your current state, so if you want to change it, you can start by changing your environment. For example, one of the first things I did when I moved from programming to public speaking was to reorganize my office. I asked myself, what kind of office would a professional writer-speaker have, and how would it be different from a programmer's office? I made a list of changes and quickly implemented them. I removed all books on game programming, packed all my diplomas, awards, etc. I filled the file cabinet with empty folders for future speeches and cleared shelf space for new books. This created a void that the trappings of my new career were to fill. I did this purge about a year ago, and now the void is filled. My folders contain my past speeches and reference materials. There are new books on public speaking, writing, and personal development on the bookshelf. I have a shelf with about half a dozen prizes and mementos from various competitions. So every time I walk into my office, it solidifies my identity as a speaker and writer. Dealing with social resistance. In addition to the things in your environment, you will also have to deal with people. Many readers have told me that social resistance is a big problem for them. They plan to change their lives and then their friends or family talk them out of it. You need to trust your own judgment more than the opinions of others. Even if it turns out you were wrong, you will learn more about yourself in the process and be able to make better decisions in the future. Many people are afraid of change, and they see your attempt to change their life for the better as a threat. Ask yourself how many of your friends will be able to accept your new identity after you complete the transition. Can you still be friends after the transition? A true close friendship will be able to handle such a change. But many casual friendships and acquaintances will fail. The same goes for other relationships. Many relationships do not experience such changes. But be that as it may, what is this relationship that falls apart when you change your life for the better? It simply means that the relationship was based on something transient and unstable. It's more profitable for you to make a change and see if your relationship can handle it than to use it as an excuse to stand still. Good relationships will help you grow, won't hold you back, and there's nothing wrong with temporary relationships. A breakup is not the end of the world. People break up every day and live to talk about it later. When I started building a business based on personal development, I cut off many casual friendships and acquaintances. It probably won't surprise you that many people in the game industry don't respect the area of personal development, although they often invest a huge amount of time in improving their technical knowledge, which I see as part of personal development. Such people reacted to my change as a personal insult. However, I expected this, and their reaction didn't slow me down. The first time I went through this was when I started my gaming business. When you make significant changes in your life, you can expect significant social resistance, regardless of the nature of the change. Public resistance is ubiquitous. Don't take it as a sign that you are doing something wrong. Use your own mind to make sure you are on the right track. No matter how correct your decision is, there will always be people telling you that you are wrong and making a big mistake. Let these people worry, and you calmly move on. Take it easy. Most importantly, do not argue with them, you will only waste words. Concentrate on taking the action and let them adjust if they can. I believe that the best way to overcome the resistance of society is to oppose it with social harmony. Enter a new group of people that will make it easier to break with the old group. Make new acquaintances and friends to match your new look. I recommend doing this as early as possible before you end any old relationships that couldn't handle your transition. Start spending more time with the new group than with the old one. Your new group will help pull you in the direction you want, which will automatically weaken the ties with the old group. You naturally want to be with people who encourage you and less socialize with those who hinder you. For me, that meant joining Toastmasters, an organization dedicated to personal development, communication skills, and leadership skills. Over the course of several months, I built a new social circle, starting with Toastmasters and gradually expanding it, and my old social circle gradually faded away as I spent less and less time in it. Several old friendships were able to survive the changes that happened to me. Some people who have known me for years as a game developer have been able to accept my new identity, and we have kept in touch, but the nature of those friendships has changed. I think the best friendships are those that stand the test of time, in which friendship is based on who you are rather than what you do or have. As you consciously make significant changes in your life, be patient with yourself. When faced with the resistance of things or people around you, try to gradually reduce and minimize it, and not fight against it. Expect a decrease in clarity as you turn a corner, but know that it will return as you start accelerating in a new direction. Making the transition will require a lot of work from you, but you will be on the other side of it in a much better position. The long-term gain is worth the short-term pain for it. Translation of Steve Pavlin's article The Meaning of Life, Transitioning, Andrew Jezhara.